You have been sitting very patiently. May I suggest everyone stands up? How does it feel? It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if I make you stand here for about 10 minutes, everyone will go back to the old habit. That is how difficult it is to change your mind, your behavior. If I do it with children, 3, 4, 5 years old, no problem. But over 7, it's over. We're molded in behavior. And so that is why the reason I think we have to think blue and not just green. We have to force ourselves, as the Dalai Lama said, we have to force ourselves to be uncomfortable sometimes. Because if we're not feeling uncomfortable, we're falling asleep and we're on autopilot. The green economy, if the green economy is about paying subsidies to companies, about taxing people more, about requesting investors to get lower return, consumers paying more, then that green economy will always be a marginal economy. I very much like to approach, as was said before, it has to be cheaper and better. If we're not doing cheaper and better, stay out of the game. I was part of the green economy. I created Ecover. I created a product that was 3,000 times more biodegradable than the standard of Procter & Gamble in 1990. I created a factory that was made completely out of wood. And all my staff, all my workers were wearing Patagonia underwear. That was to go to the Himalaya mountains. But they wear it in the factory so I could reduce my energy consumption in the factory. Patagonia never understood, why do we get these orders from a detergent maker in Belgium? Result though was that I was paying my workers €0.50 a kilometer to ride the bicycle to work. I tell you, in Belgium, even in the bad weather, for €0.50, people ride the bicycle. And in '92, my whole car fleet of the company was on biodiesel. But I went to visit in '93 my suppliers and I saw this. And I realized that biodegradability has nothing to see with sustainability. Sustainability is much more than just having something that biodegrades, because in natural system, everything biodegrades. It's a matter of time. Even nuclear waste biodegrades. It only takes 50,000 years. And I realized that while cleaning the rivers in Europe, I was destroying the habitat of the orangutan. And I see it mentioned over and over again. I published my book on that in 1993. It was called Svolte Epocali, and it was published by Baldini Castoldi. Apparently no one read it. But it spurred me to sell my shares to my partner, because we were taking market share without advertising. And today Ecover is $250 million business on a model that is fundamentally unsustainable. And I wish that next time you use Ecover as a case of the wrong way of going on the market. Because you cannot simply change a product, you cannot simply change a process in a factory, you have to change the business model. Only when we design new business models will we be able to become sustainable. And for me, sustainability is the capacity to respond to the basic needs of all living species, not only all living people. The biggest bottom of the pyramid are the other 90 million species living on Earth. We have attention perhaps for the bottom of the pyramid of the human species. But we have to do it with what we have. The human being is the only one on Earth that makes things which it does not have. Quite amazing, isn't it? We're magicians. And therefore we have carbon footprints, therefore we have waste. I think our business models of the future have to be inspired, not copy, have to be inspired by the way ecosystems work. You remember this? If you give a man a fish, he will not be hungry for the day. If you teach him how to fish, he will overfish. The wisdom of the past is not taking us to the future. If we only teach what we know to our children can only do as bad as we do. We are in need as business people to embrace innovations. I've established 10 companies. 2 went bankrupt. And the largest one is 250 million euro today. But we need to embrace innovations beyond what present business can imagine. Because unless we embrace innovations, we're never going to be competitive. We did a research and we found more than 2,200 innovations that could be inspired by the way ecosystems work. And we summarized 100, and I wrote a book, The Blue Economy. And I call it blue because the earth is blue. The earth is not green. The sky is blue, the ocean is blue. Blue is the color that really embraces the system. Green is only the tree. That's the plants. That's only one of the 5 kingdoms of nature. So I call it blue, and we looked at the best innovations that have been pursued by our scientists and by businessmen. And I wanted to see which innovations are truly sustainable. First principle, it's based on physics. It's not biology and chemistry, physics. If we embrace physics the way the laws of physics are really working and determining everything, we can make a tremendous shift very quickly. In chemistry, everything depends on pressure and temperature and the catalysts. In biology, everything is an exception. You remember why the seahorse is an exception? The man has the babies. So, if we want to have as industry predictable results over time, and we rely on biology, the only option is GMO, chemical controls. Because, I'm sorry, nature always changes. Everything always evolves. So we fall into the trap of having biodegradable plastics, PLA as was mentioned, made from corn. The only way to do that predictably is to genetically modify the corn. And last year I was with Carlo Petrini, and I found that even in slow food they were using genetically modified corn produced by Cargill. I think Carlo had a heart attack.